Welcome to a beautiful fall day on the Saturday before Thanksgiving at Notre Dame Stadium. And it is the 500th game in this historic venue. The house that Rockne built first opened its gates in 1930. And today is going to host Wake Forest, and Notre Dame as the Irish honor 31 student athletes on Senior Day. And some players may still have eligibility remaining, but for many players, this will be their final time leaving the locker room and walking down those iconic steps. And Marcus Freeman wanted every player that could be playing in their final home game to participate and soak in this moment. So all the underclassmen hit the field first to watch their teammates run out of the tunnel one final time. It's an emotional day for the players, for their families as well. The festivities have been underway, but a few remaining introductions that are happening right now. So Howard Cross, one of the best interior defenders in the country, undersized but all heart, and he can fill up a stat sheet for a defensive lineman. And his dad, Howard Cross Jr., a Super Bowl champion himself, is here to help celebrate. Michael Benson, the long snapper, as consistent as they come, 4-year starter, just doing a job and a valuable job on special teams. And DJ Brown out of Annapolis, Maryland, one of the veteran leaders of that secondary, has been such a strength for Notre Dame. And speaking of that secondary, Cam Hart, the incredible growth and evolution over his career from wide receiver to cornerback. Really his best year in 2023, pairing with Benjamin Morrison. J.D. Bertrand led the defense in tackles for 3 straight years. Seems poised to pursue an NFL career, the heart and soul of that defense, and the voice everybody listens to. And Sam Hartman, 5 years at Wake Forest, 1 season at Notre Dame, now plays his final home game against many of his friends and mentors in the school where he built his legacy. Sam with his parents, Mark and Lisa. Really cool day.
It's an incredible day. It really is. And you mentioned Sam's parents, just all the families who are here. It's not just an individual commitment that these players make. It's a family commitment, and fabulous to have everybody here on a beautiful day to celebrate it all.
Sam was a busy guy during pregame warmups.
He sure was.
Talking to everybody. He was just trying to walk 10 feet down the sideline, and he'd be talking to somebody else, some of his old teammates, some of his best friends, and he had so many stories to tell about all that he accomplished with Wake Forest.
What a fabulous picture that is right there. All those seniors, the shared commitment they've had through the years. Great day for everybody.
And let's head down to the field where Lewis Johnson is with head coach Marcus Freeman.
All right, Jack, thank you very much. Coach, what an emotional moment. Just kind of share some of these moments here as you're thanking your seniors for their time here at Notre Dame.
You know, these guys give it everything they have, man, and some have been here for 6 years, some have been for less than a year, and you just appreciate what they give to this university and to this football team.
You guys are coming off the loss to Clemson, then the bye. So how have you challenged your team today to really get rid of the noise and then focus it on being the best team they can be today against Wake Forest?
You know, I think they're ready. I mean, we had to use that message throughout the week to continue to get them focused on what it takes to give your chance to be successful on Saturdays, and that goes through the preparation. Today you need to go play, right? And I told them in the locker room, man, all you have is this moment, man. Let's just go play and go get after it.
So Sam Hartman, my goodness, the emotions he must have are pretty deep being out here against his former team. How will you help him early kind of get his feet set and kind of settle into this game?
Well, obviously we want to create a success early for him to create that confidence in the pass game and in the run game, to let him have some of that confidence you need to progress throughout this game. But he's a mature kid, man. He's been through a lot, and I assume he's going to go out here and perform pretty well.
All right, Marcus, thanks so much, and good luck today.
All right, thank you.
All right, Jack.
Lewis, coach, thank you. The ceremony's wrapping up, but the celebration just getting started. Football on the other side. Wake Forest and Notre Dame when we come back. Well, you can't ask for a better mid-November day. Sunny, temperature in the low 50s. Notre Dame trying to finish their season strong. Coming off the loss to Clemson, followed by the bye week. Wake Forest won the toss, deferred. Notre Dame receives. And Wake Forest trying to get things jump-started after 3 straight losses. Tyler Black send us deep, and Javarian Price lets the football drift over his head. So Sam Hartman made his name at Wake Forest. 45 starts, won so many games, school record holder in attempts, completions, yards, touchdowns, you name it. Big smile on his face, reliving some of those days in the ACC records as well. 110 touchdown passes, 21 games with 300-plus yards passing. He did it all that way.
What a career. Heart and soul of the program. One of the most prolific passers in ACC history. 15,000 yards is a lot of yards. 110 touchdowns there, 18 here at Notre Dame. What a career for Sam Hartman.
Audric Estime starts at running back to the air early on, and just a little too far, looking for Chris Tyree, the leading receiver, on the outside for Notre Dame.
One of the things early on in this ball game, you talked about all the relationships that Sam has had and talking to all the people, before the game, his former teammates and coaches. There's a lot of emotions when you play football, and certainly on a day like this for him, after so much was invested at Wake Forest, big thing for him is just breathe, relax, settle in, and go play football.
Ashton Craig gets the start at center, and for Zeke Correll. And the football right there behind Craig. This is Estime, who goes ahead for a pickup of 3. And Dave Clawson over on the other side, his former coach, I think he was still getting used to the idea that Sam Hartman was no longer his quarterback. It was tough for him even to just talk about him playing for Notre Dame.
No doubt. They were attached at the hip and had so much success together. They talked about the great wins and the losses and the bonds they formed. And they're certainly in a transition period at Wake Forest, and Sam Hartman not being there is a big reason why.
And a 3rd and 7 on this opening drive. Hartman pressure, just tries to get the football away to Jabron Payne and cannot. That's Wayman forcing the pressure on Hartman.
It's a good early stop for Wake Forest, and Notre Dame, a couple new pieces in the middle of the offensive line. Ashton Craig is the starting center. Billy Shroud's going to be the right guard. There's pressure off the right-hand side. One of the best pressure players for Wake Forest, Kendron Wayman, getting around Sam, forcing the incomplete.
And Bryce McPherson has this punt go up the side of his foot, just did not hit it cleanly at all, and Taylor Morin, back deep for Wake, never had an opportunity.
Not a great start for Notre Dame. Offensively, you get a 3 and out, not real good in the kicking game, and hard to think that the emotions before the game of senior day, sometimes those things, you have to kind of work your way through them to get back at the task at hand. So, look for this defense, really the strength of this Notre Dame team throughout the year to settle back in and hopefully get a stop for the Irish.
Only a 27-yard punt. It's going to set up Michael Kern nicely, former 3-star recruit from Orlando, Florida. You see the numbers. Redshirt junior making his first career start, though, inside Notre Dame Stadium.
Well, looks like pressure right away from Notre Dame.
Justice Ellison gets the start at running back. And he tries the left side of that offensive line. It's a battle just to get back that line of scrimmage. That's Howard Cross making the stop with company. So Kearney came in for Mitch Griffiths during that Virginia Tech game, impressed the coaches, but then he got hurt. Clawson said without the injury, he really would have started that following game against Pitt, but Griffiths came back in, got some more reps, and they waited for Michael Kern to get healthy. Now that he is healthy, he gets the start. Man in motion, Jamal Banks. Kern on the roll, eyes downfield, throws a dangerous pass, about an interception there right on the sideline. Went through the arms of Thomas Harper.
Kern has not played a lot of football. He's been at Wake Forest for 4 years, and all they're trying to do here is get him out into space away from this defensive line. So it's a controlled protection outside. It's a poor decision by Kern. A lot of blue shirts out there in the secondary. Once you sprint, oftentimes you cut down about half of the field. So if there's nothing there, you got to be smart and get rid of the football. They find themselves in the 3rd and long.
Kern pressured his face, down the sideline, he throws it, just throws one up. It's Benjamin Morrison, and a penalty marker comes out right on top of it. Looking for Banks, Morrison in coverage, so it's the best on the best, and a penalty in the air.
Al Gold not afraid to bring pressure here. Does it on third down. Here's the call.
Defense number 20, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
It's a good look at Banks working against Benjamin Morrison. They got handsy all the way down the field, and Banks is a big guy. He's 6'4". Kern just gives him a chance, and look in the middle of the offensive line there. There's Howard Cross, one of the most productive defensive linemen, getting to the quarterback one more time. Big break for Wake Forest, keeping this drive alive.
He's calling a first down, and they try to go back to the ground with Ellison. Nothing doing. Javante Jean-Baptiste, the transfer from Ohio State, making a tackle.
This Wake Forest offense has struggled to find their identity. You know, when Sam Hartman was the quarterback here, they ran an offense based on the slow mesh. It's kind of an elongated RPO, run-pass option. That's what their offense was all about. And these young quarterbacks, inexperienced quarterbacks, have struggled. So in recent weeks, they're trying to find their identity. You know, where that slow mesh fits in, we'll see as this day unfolds.
Kern pressure to hit, just throws this football out of bounds. It's Javante Jean-Baptiste, who has been busy, been active early in forcing this third long.
He sure has. The senior transfer from Ohio State. You see him right here on the offensive right-hand side. The best thing you can do as a defensive lineman when a quarterback is out in space is go right at him. Don't hesitate. Don't fall for the pump fake. Put pressure on him. That's certainly what Jean-Baptiste did there. Another big play for this Irish defense. Looks like more heat.
Right back to third long. Kern navigating that pocket, flushed. Now looking down the sideline and throws it away one more time. He's looking for Cameron Height, his tight end, not even close.
Little doubt about what Al Golden, the defensive coordinator for Notre Dame's approach is in this ball game. He's going to bring pressure. We saw it on the first play. We saw it on third down. We saw it a couple more times after they converted on the defensive pass interference. They're going to guard Wake Forest receivers outside and man-to-man, and they're going to come after Kern.
3 quarterback hits forced by that Irish defense. Ivan Mora on the punt. Chris Tyree on the other end of it for Notre Dame, the always dangerous Chris Tyree. And Tyree lets this football bounce wisely and into the end zone. It will roll. So it's about the defenses early on. 0-0. Wake gets a stop. Notre Dame gets a stop of their own. This week, the Tonight Show is all new with Keenan Thompson, Kel Mitchell, Tim Allen, Sterling K. Brown, and on Thanksgiving, Jimmy Welcome Share and Mike Birbiglia. New Tonight Show, NBC and Peacock. Touchdown, Jesus, shining bright.
I can't get
warm sun, not a cloud sight.
I can't help but keep thinking about the BC game we did here last year. It was a beautiful day, but it was a snowstorm.
Couldn't even see the field.
Yeah. 50 and sunny feels pretty good.
Sure does. Hartman trying to hand it off. Andre Estime met in the backfield. It's Kevin Pointer. Straight through the offensive line, who has some new guys in formation. Mentioned Zeke Carell, concussion protocol. Rocco Spindler out for the season with the knee injury. So it's Billy Shrout as well as Ashton Craig.
Yeah, 2 freshmen in the middle of this offensive line, and a real concern for some of the Notre Dame coaches coming in because Wake Forest is pretty good in there. You saw Kevin Pointer, Jasheen Davis. Those guys have shown up early on in this ball game. Could be a tough matchup.
2nd and 13. To the tight end, it's Eli Raridan. So Raridan gets healthy, helping out that tight end room. Of course, Mitchell Evans, who's out. They needed some reinforcements, and Raridan looks right again.
They sure did, and a good pass protection snap by these Notre Dame offensive line. You see Wake Forest, they have 5 guys. They want to create one-on-ones. There's Ashton Craig hanging in there. Shrout, the right guard, hanging in there, giving Sam a chance to work through his progression and find Raridan. Nice to see Raridan back after the ACL.
And they expect Cooper Flanagan and Eli Raridan to rotate in with Holden Stays throughout the course of this game. Hartman, clean drop, plenty of time, taking his time, looking deep down the field, and this is Faison, who runs into traffic. It's Glasgow and a penalty flag right there on top of it. Remember, Deshaun Jones is out.
Defense number 25, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So Deshaun Jones is out for Wake Forest. That means Glasgow first start in a big moment.
This is Faison working in the middle of the screen. This is the former lacrosse player showing up here the last month or so for Notre Dame, and they want to get him the ball down the field. Glasgow, as you said, a freshman. This is a big stage for this guy. Didn't have the poise he needed at the end of the down. Another good break for Notre Dame.
Hartman, quick throw outside. Rico Flores, and Flores trying to break a tackle as he gets it out to midfield. And that's Glasgow one more time. Notre Dame seems to be working on.
Yeah, common theme, Jack. There are a lot of freshmen out there for Notre Dame. Talked about in the interior of the offensive line. Faison, Flores, a lot of young guys playing on the offensive side of the ball for the Irish.
A little pace for Notre Dame. Adric Estime rumbling forward and picking up that first down.
When you get in that second and short situation, it's a good opportunity to get on the ball and just hammer that defensive line with Estime. But that's going to be the story up front in this game. Can these young guys, Craig and Shroud, step in and be effective in the interior of this offensive line for Notre Dame? The protection has been pretty good so far. A big part of what Notre Dame wants to do is run the football. They got to make sure they control the line of scrimmage there as well.
A couple running backs check in for Estime. It's Jeremiah Love as well as Devin Ford. Hartman trying to get loose in the pocket. He wanted Tobias Merryweather and couldn't get enough on that pass. Might have been batted right there at the line of scrimmage.
A lot of people around Sam on this one. This is just play action. You see him put the ball into the backs. A big part of being a running back in college football, making sure you can stand in there and block those linebacker pressures. Didn't happen there.
Hartman hands it away, Jeremiah Love, and they are still fired up about Jeremiah Love. And as you project the future of that running back position, of course, Adric Estime may be moving on to the NFL. We will see. Jeremiah Love would be next in line. NFL teams already asking questions about him.
No doubt. That guy's got juice, and a great compliment to the bigger back Estime. In this situation right here, you got third down. You're on the 42. This could be four-down territory. Certainly too far to kick a field goal from here. But the offensive coordinator, Jared Parker, will probably have 2 downs to convert this.
And Cooper Flanagan in motion. Hand it off. Estime straight up the middle, and Estime picks up that first down. But it was something that the Wake Forest coaches were noticing, was that they're willing. They want to run on third down.
They sure do. Watch it. Joe Alt right here, the left tackle. Outstanding pass protector, equally good run blocker. 6'8", long arms, good athlete. You see him getting to the second level. Estime having the patience, gets in behind that block. They didn't need 2 downs there, Jack.
Sure didn't. 1,000-yard season for Estime.
Coming back.
Estime, another carry, makes one man miss, and inside the 30. He takes it. 6 touchdowns the last 3 games for Adric Estime. He has been the hammer offensively.
He sure has, and he's the key to Notre Dame's offense. In a lot of ways, the key to their team. When he's played well and been productive and been the bell cow for them, they've played awfully well. It makes the offensive line better. It makes the quarterback and the receivers better because they're playing run defense. So he's the hammer for them. He's the heart and soul of this team, and when he's running the football, all of a sudden the defense is playing a lot better too. So as Adric Estime goes, so goes this Notre Dame Irish football team.
Bring Jordan Faison in motion. Hartman looking deep, looking toward the end zone, toward Faison, and this football falls incomplete. It's like Faison might have had an opportunity for it late. Pass ball's incomplete.
This is Faison working in the slot, and he's going to work on one of Wake Forest's best players. Here he is. He's going to run an inside fade, and he's going to be by himself. And Malik Mustafa is going to play it, and it's really good poise by Mustafa at the end of the down. Hard for Faison to come back into it. I don't know if he had a problem seeing it, but he reacted late to the football. And again, another third down. Sam can't go backwards here.
3rd and 6. Jabron Payne, the running back. Pressure look. Pressure right in the face of Hartman, and he tried to just get rid of that football down the sideline. Well, Dylan Hazen forcing that pressure on his own quarterback.
And it's a great call by Brad Lambert, the Wake Forest defensive coordinator. When you're on the fringe, you want to bring heat. You want to pressure the quarterback and make him get the ball out of his hand. They bring one extra guy. Notre Dame does not have enough blockers, so he has to throw the inside fade one more time to Faison. Faison goes in. Sam throws it out. Wake Forest is off the field.
Spencer Schrader, the numbers on the year, 13-18. He's done some of his finest work from deep. Has a big leg from 47 away, and this time Schrader just pushed it. You could tell right when it left his foot that he didn't like it, and just kept drifting on him. So he's hit from 54, so distance has not been an issue at all. This time aim the issue, way off the mark. Notre Dame football is brought to you by Allstate. You're in good hands. By Ancestry, discover, preserve, represent. And by Genesis Motor America, visit genesis.com. But when you go through all these years, the 500th game inside this building, you go the 300th game, the 400th game, so much great history.
It sure is. I was struck by it. And what struck me, 1930 was the first year, was last year of Knute Rockne as the head coach at Notre Dame, and all the amazing games played here since then. It's great stuff.
So a nice drive by Notre Dame. This field goal, they leave empty-handed. This is Ellison, and everything on the ground has been tough for Wake. Jack Swarbrick and Father Jenkins, two longtime leaders at Notre Dame. Final home game in their current roles. Swarbrick stepping down as athletic director 2024 after 16 years, 10 national championships to date. Reverend John Jenkins stepping down as Notre Dame president at the end of the academic year, returning to teaching and ministry at the university. And here is Kern, keeping himself straight up the middle, but that pair has done just an incredible job of bringing new ideas to Notre Dame, but they also prioritize that the values of Notre Dame will never change. It's extremely important to both.
Well, you used the right word in describing them, leaders. Leaders of this community, leaders all across intercollegiate athletics. It's just amazing. And the ability to move forward, but then maintain the integrity and the values of this place, something else. And those two guys will sorely be missed. They're big shoes to fill.
On 3rd and 5. Kern, time's running out, time runs out. Jean-Baptiste, he has been unblockable, and J.D. Bertrand there to help him out.
We just got the sense in talking to the defensive guys at Notre Dame that they were going to attack, and attack this Wake Forest offense throughout this ball game. We've seen pressure early on. We see show pressure and bail out. A lot of guys around the line of scrimmage defending the run. A lot of guys rushing the passer, creating matchups with linemen, with linebackers on backs. They've been attacking from play one. They're getting after Wake Forest right now.
And you see Mora saying we only have 10 guys on the field, and so we're going to take a timeout here for Wake Forest and figure it out.
Yeah, when you got 10, it's a good timeout. Take the delay or take the timeout. Don't punt the football, because really bad things happen then.
So we mentioned Jack Swarbrick and Father Jenkins, but how about the news today? The NBC rights to Notre Dame now going to run through 2029, and that deal began in 1991, 33rd year. I can remember just growing up and watching Notre Dame football on NBC, and to see it continue, really great.
Yeah, it's an amazing partnership, and an incredible privilege for us to be able to come here on Saturday afternoon and be a part of it. And we love the relationship. We love Notre Dame, and pretty amazing stuff.
Appears they figured out the 11th guy, and now Wake Forest set to punt. Morris sent it deep. On the other end of it is Chris Tyree, who may get an opportunity this time. Tyree drifting backwards. Now Tyree hits the gas pedal as he tries to gain that edge and takes it out across the 25. So a 2nd and 4 for Notre Dame here. Hartman swings it outside. It's Faison, and Faison going to pick up that first down for Notre Dame. That's Mustafa who made the tackle. Irish on the ball quickly, snapped that football even before the commercial break came to a conclusion.
They sure did. They're excited to play.
A lot of pace offensively today.
Chopping at the bit, baby. Like to see Faison in the slot. We've seen them take some shots down the field with him, but I think that's what he might do best, those little option routes where he can break in or out based on how the defense is playing. Good pickup for the Irish, getting the first down.
You see that smile on Sam Hartman's face. Matt Salerno checks into the game on senior day. Audric Estime with the football and moving forward. Positive yardage. That's Roberts. Eventually made the tackle, Jacob Roberts, for Wake.
Salerno's been a backup receiver here at Notre Dame and banged up for a lot of this year. This is his first game back in about 6 weeks. And he's just one of those guys, every time he gets an opportunity, good things seem to be happening. Seen a lot of rotation of the lineup at the skill position for the Irish early on.
Hartman, Estime maybe got a yard. Yes, Salerno had a touchdown against Boston College last year on senior day.
Yeah, he did.
Wants to get another touchdown on senior day. Going to get some opportunities now that he's finally healthy.
He sure is. Notre Dame find themselves in the 3rd and short situation on their own side of the 50, but I would see this as 4-down territory as well. Wouldn't be surprised to see number 7, Audric Estime, get it one more time here.
It's a heavy formation for the Irish offensively. Man in motion, Rico Flores. Hartman, Estime stopped initially, then breaks loose. Now Estime down the sideline, throwing a stiff arm out there on Mustafa. Had his momentum stopped initially, waited, found that hole, and then went.
Official timeout for an injured player.
We got a player down for Wake. We'll check on the injured player and be right back. 0-0 ball game in South Bend.
This is the short yardage play. This look from above is brought to you by Walmart Plus. It's 3 tight ends in the game. They call this 13 personnel. There's 3 of them. Okay, he's going to go back, and they're just going to run Estime here. I just want you to watch the block by Holden Stays and the block by the left tackle, Joe Waltz. And then you see Estime's ability to cut laterally. Stays and all sustaining those blocks, create that hole late in the down for Estime. Estime knows what to do, breaking tackles and coming out of the stack, and oftentimes that can happen in a short yardage situation. The defense all around the football, so if you break the line of scrimmage, real opportunity for a big play. Estime took advantage.
A pickup of 21, and for Estime, now the 19th Irish runner. Go ahead and gain over 2,000 career yards on the ground. Milestones today for Estime.
Absolutely.
Hartman on the roll, complete to Raritan. Now Eli Raritan shakes loose a defender and takes it down inside the 20. So the sophomore getting some work. Now they got that knee healthy. He's running like it.
And Jack, when you run the football, these kinds of things can happen. This is Raritan here on the left-hand side. They go Estime this way. Sam comes out to his left. Off of play action. Does a good job navigating the throw. And Eli Raritan's dealt with a lot of injuries here early on in his career. It's good to see him back out there being active and contributing early on in this ball game.
Brings Salerno in motion. Hartman, Estime carrying defenders down to the 15.
Pretty obvious that Notre Dame feels like they have an advantage up front running the ball directly at Wake Forest. They want to hammer them. They're using big personnel. They're bringing that receiver down in there. They're letting this offensive line come off the ball, and oftentimes that's good when you have young offensive linemen. You can quiet the game down. Wake Forest likes to move their front. Harder to move it when they're coming right at you. Double teamed north and south. Been effective for the Irish early on in the game.
Now Notre Dame brings in the receivers. 2nd and 6. Another handoff, Estime. And Estime still moving ahead. Take it down to the 12. It's Jacob Roberts who eventually shoved him backwards.
And this is a big drive for Notre Dame. You know, you reflect back to the Clemson game. a couple weeks ago, one of the big issues was the red zone scoring. Had to kick 3 field goals early on in the ball game, as Notre Dame is kicking field goals, Clemson scoring touchdowns. So getting down here and to be able to pay this thing off and score a touchdown is big. So take a look at offensive coordinator Jared Parker. This will be a big down for the Irish.
Devin Ford checks in at running back. Motion man is Thomas. Hartman rolling to his left, wide open in the end zone is Devin Ford. Touchdown, Notre Dame. Hard to get much more open than that.
Yeah. Hey, real similar. It's 13 personnel again. The 3 tight ends are in the game. Receiver goes this way. This is the formation they ran for the short yardage. Now they take 4. They run them up the sidelines. It's free release. So a little disorienting for that Wake Forest defense. Sam did a really good job navigating. He knew he had him. He just had to buy some time. He laid the ball. Excellent call by Parker. Excellent execution by Hartman. And Ford paying it off.
Schrader is good, the extra point. So it's 9 plays, 71 yards, 4:41 off the clock. Hartman, little roll, flips it to Devin Ford. Little senior day celebration for Ford and Hartman alike, 7-0.
Toast to Notre Dame football by raising a pint of Guinness, a proud partner and official beer of Fighting Irish alumni and fans. Please drink responsibly.
Devin Ford, 12-yard touchdown grab, first with Notre Dame for the transfer from Penn State. When Estime checked out, Ford came in. He got a little less attention than typically Estime receives.
No doubt. Again, using the 3 tight ends, it can be disorienting to the defense. They're playing run defense, and all of a sudden they're getting 5 guys out. Good to see Ford, the senior transfer from Penn State, getting in on the action.
Spencer Schrader sent it deep. And Keyshawn Williams for Wake Forest brings it out. And Williams has plenty of quickness as he crosses the 25. And let's check in with the studio for a game break.
Joshua Perry here, got a final down in Miami. Louisville on the road. Miami with a shot to win it at the end of the game. Tyler Van Dyke searching, looking for a huge play, and it fails right here, which means Louisville secures their place in the ACC championship game for the first time in program history. Back to you, Jack.
Joshua, that football hanging up in the air there for a second.
It sure was.
Grabbed it, just not close enough to that end zone.
Gave him a chance.
Sure did. Total offense, Notre Dame, 110 yards. Wake Forest so far, -5. They've gone backwards. See if Michael Kern will move in the right direction. And Tate Carney begins this drive at running back. Take it to Carney. Now Kern, pressure, complete. It's Banks. And Banks is going to elude a defender and pick up a yard.
Yeah, Dave Clawson's done an amazing job at Wake Forest. Been here for 10 years. They've gotten to 7 bowl games. I think they'd gotten to 8 in their entire history prior to that. So he's transformed the program. And a big part of it was, you know, a guy like Sam Hartman, a prolific quarterback for him. It was a great relationship. And we touched on it earlier, just the transition away from a player like that who was such a cornerstone guy. They've had some quarterback issues. Offense has not been nearly as good this year. Struggling again early on in this ball game.
And it was a pressure look for Notre Dame defensively. So Thomas Harper was showing, he was walking it down there, and, you know, Wake says, we're going to take a second here, let the quarter wind down. We're going to think about this in the second quarter.
Yeah, when you get that pressure down after down after down, you take size like Clawson just had right there, like, boy, how are we going to slow these guys down?
Wisely. 7-0 Notre Dame. Sam Hartman dealing against his former team. It's 7-0 Notre Dame at the end of 1, and Sam Hartman mentioned some of the emotions that he thought he'd be feeling pregame warm-ups, trying to get himself going in this game. That touchdown drive may settle him down just a bit.
Yeah, there's no doubt when you're talking to all your buddies before the game for a half an hour, then you got to go out and play. You got to change your emotions. And I thought we saw a little bit of areas for concern there in the first drive, but there's no doubt he's settled in. He's seen the field. He's been patient going through his progressions and cashed off the drive at the end with the pass to Ford. So looks like he's getting more and more comfortable as this day is unfolding.
Leaning on Audric Estime, and then to the pass game, and Ford was completely by himself in the end zone. So 7-0, Wake Forest with the football, and it is 2nd and 9. Patiently, and now flips it down the sideline. It's complete. It's Banks, and Jamal Banks picks up that first down and then steps out of bounds.
And really our first look at slow mesh, and he gets a corner blitz. Benjamin Morrison coming off the side here, and just watch how long Kern holds this thing. Hold it right there. Look how long he holds it. He holds it, he holds it, he holds it. He freezes the Notre Dame linebackers and eventually finds Banks on the sidelines.
Down, trying to set up a little reverse, flip it back to Banks. Now Banks wants to pass down the sideline. It's a nice ball there by Banks. Throws it to his fellow wide receiver, and Keyshawn Williams for the completion.
These guys they're absolutely dying to call this play here. Just get something positive happening. You hand it here, you pitch it here, and then you slip Keyshawn Williams out of it, and Banks, the lefty, delivers a strike. Excellent work by Williams getting the foot down. Exactly the kind of play Wake Forest needed to get started.
Gain of 17. Now Banks this time, he's going to have a catch. Working on Cam Hart. You could tell that Banks was just patiently running with that football. You thought he might throw it. Delivered a pretty good ball.
Yeah. And you know, those guys, those plays in practice, you work them again and again and again, week after week after week, and everybody's dying to call it. And then you have it on the script early on in the game. There's a little nervousness, a little anxiety that settles in. Banks did a good job taking a breath and executing the throw.
And Clawson, as well as that entire coaching staff, was interested to see Jamal Banks match up with Benjamin Morrison. You see that matchup right now at the bottom of your screen. Hands it off. Carney finds a lane, eventually tripped up by DJ Brown.
Yeah, and this is a big thing for them to be able to do. The quarterbacks have struggled a little bit, so if you can get your running game going early on in this game, that's exactly what they want. And what we've seen from Notre Dame is to attack and pressure and make Kern uncomfortable. As you see, Sam Hartman for years having so much success, threw for 8,000 yards in 21 and 22. Certainly have not had that kind of success early on in this season.
Trips to the left of Kern. Now sends Carney that direction. Kern flips it out. Another double pass here. It's Williams. Now Williams finds a lane to run. Williams still on his feet as he takes it down inside the 10. They had no problem letting their wide receivers throw the football.
They don't. And you saw the pass was decidedly backwards. We had a good angle of it. Pretty clear they want to get the ball in Williams' hands. Look at all the offensive linemen. They just dive on the ground. Williams doesn't like what he sees. Was going to throw it back to the quarterback. Hey, I got it out here in space. Let me go make something happen. He's certainly the guy to do it.
They said they had a few wrinkles offensively in the plan.
We've seen a couple of them.
There they were. Williams in motion. Now back the other direction. Kern hands it. Carney outside. Carney end zone. Touchdown, Wake Forest. Quick answer offensively for Wake.
And that is exactly what you have to do. You have to do something to disorient the defense. And look at Clawson. He's happy about this. This is just Carney. They just run a sweep this way. And when this Notre Dame defense, all of a sudden they're not running the ball quite as quickly. Had a couple of different misdirection plays bite them on this drive. They start slowing down. They're not attacking as much. That offensive line gets into the defensive line, and Carney does the rest. What a drive by Wake Forest.
Well, the offensive line has been criticized plenty. I think the offensive line heard some of that criticism. Created a nice crease right there, and on for the extra point is Matthew Dennis, and that is good. So 7 plays, 72 yards. They had -5 yards of offense, and then all of a sudden that drive brings the offense to life. 7-7. Notre Dame football is brought to you by Gillette Labs, the next generation of shaving, by Google and Samsung. Do more with Google and Android, and by Guinness. Zero chance of missing out. How about some of these photos right here? Hartman, he told us about that yesterday. The visor, he said, I don't know why I wore number 1. I don't know why I wore a visor. Riley Mills, too, he eventually grew into those pads.
It's really priceless. You know, you see the families here today. These guys are graduating seniors from Notre Dame, one of the great programs in the country. And you reflect back, not too long ago, there were little kids playing Pop Warner football, and all those dreams they had when they were putting their uniform on for the first time, many of them have been realized.
Tyler Black sent it deep to Jadarian Price. And Price from the 8. Now Price in a one-on-one situation, and he takes it out across the 30. And time now for the progressive game flow. The game flow takes us to the pregame. He had a tough time warming up, because everywhere he went, he was talking to somebody else, and there he is with Michael Juergens, the left guard, who said is his best friend. They actually have a wedding coming up in the offseason, but with his old coach as well. A lot going on pregame warm-ups.
There's no doubt, and you know, being there for 5 years and the highs and lows and the relationships formed, and you know, an emotional day for Sam, no doubt about that.
Hartman rolling to his left, looking for Tyree, and Tyree slowed down just enough. Keep that defender on his backside, and Chris Tyree with the grab over Slocum.
Looks like they're going fast. Sprint out to the left. Love Tyree working the corner route in the slot. Remember Tyree, the former running back, done a great job making that transition. Who knows if that ball might have come out at the end of that thing, Jack.
So Notre Dame trying to get up on the ball and snap it. Official review, 7-7 game in South Bend. So just moments ago, that Tyree grab was ruled incomplete. It was close, though.
It sure was close. The hip goes down. 1 foot, 2 feet, elbow, elbow, elbow. But just at the end of it, the point of the ball goes down, and they still use that language of surviving the ground. He survived it for a while. I guess not long enough.
So 28 yards off the board. Hartman. All kinds of time. Now a completion. It's Holden Stays, and Holden Stays trying to get himself going within this offense again. Had that breakout game against NC State. Hasn't done much since. So let's bring in Reggie Smith, our rules analyst. Reggie, how'd you see that last one with Tyree?
Well, initially, as he was going to the ground, you can tell that he didn't have full control as it was pinned between his shoulder pad and his forearm. Just as he was beginning to bring his right hand over the ball hit the ground. Good decision and replay to reverse.
There you go. Thank you, Reggie. Back to Tyree, and Tyree is being swung around and swung backwards by Hazen. Dylan Hazen got his arms on him and wouldn't let go.
And that's what you see a lot from this Wake Forest defense. They play the game the right way. They're aggressive up front. They got a couple cornerstone-type players on their defensive line, but they have linebackers who can run and safeties who play downhill. And important for Notre Dame when they get out into space, the tight ends and the receivers blocking these guys if they want to get those quick screens to come alive for them.
2nd and 10. Estime with a full head of steam, and Estime out to the 50.
And again, you get into these situations where you're around midfield, you have yourself in a 3rd and 4 situation, and you know, Marcus Freeman talking to Jared Parker and saying, hey, you might have 2 downs here to go ahead and convert this thing. Wake Forest has done a good job responding, keep this thing at 7-7. Feels like Notre Dame has controlled it, but they've made a couple good stops. They put a good drive together themselves. Now you're in a deadlock ball game halfway through the 2nd quarter.
Notre Dame 3 for 5 on 3rd down. Flanagan in motion. Hand it off to Payne. And Payne is going to be met and stopped. And let's check in with Lewis.
Hey, Jack, just a quick update on Wake Forest defensive tackle Justin Williams, who was down the field in the 1st quarter for about 3 minutes. He spent about 10 minutes inside the medical tent, and then he walked out with his helmet to join his defensive players. He still has the helmet on the sideline, so still could be available to come back in the game, and we'll see. Jack.
Lewis, copy that. 4th down. Notre Dame offense stays on the field.
Knowing that it's 4-down territory impacts that 3rd down call. They ran it there, didn't get much. It's a healthy 4th and 3.
See Hartman trying to quiet down the crowd. Motion man is Rico Flores. Hartman scanning, finds Flores. Flores with some space out in front. Now Rico with the nice cut inside the 30 before he is flipped down. So Rico Flores, the true freshman, getting back involved.
Here they line 4 guys up to the left side of the formation. They free release the back. You're going to see Rico coming in and running the drag route this way. It all starts with the protection. The guys up front allow Sam to work from his left back to his right and find Flores. Excellent job by Eli Raridan at the end of the down, not getting a clip there, kind of getting out of the way and just shielding the defender. A big pickup for Notre Dame.
Hartman hands it off. Jeremiah Love, and not much room for Love to operate. 2, maybe 3 up the middle.
And like the aggressiveness by Marcus Freeman to go for it there. Giving the indicator to Jared Parker, his offensive coordinator, before the 3rd down play. Hey, this is 4-down territory. So they run it, they come back with a high percentage throw. And again, this Notre Dame offensive line with 2 young guys in the middle of it really stepping up. The protection's been clean for most of this ball game.
It's Faison, the man in motion. Hartman, flag flies. Now Hartman firing down toward the end zone. Is Chris Tyree the intended target? Glasgow in coverage, but flag right there at the snap.
Having a healthy discussion on this one.
Sure are.
There are multiple fouls on the offense. Illegal shift. That penalty is declined. Holding, number 76. 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Is that the problem with thinking that you may have a free play? Taking a shot like that and ultimately winds up being on the offense.
Yeah, it surprised me. I thought it was a good play by Ashton Craig, the center. When you get the guy offside, snap the football. Clearly they didn't see it that way. Joe Alt's got him locked out. He's in good position. Davis goes down. So thought the protection was actually pretty clean. He was in good position throughout. Interesting, the call they made. Apparently they didn't think the defensive line was in the neutral zone. So you go from thinking you have a free play to finding yourself in 2nd and long.
Hartman looking deep downfield, has a man. It's Tobias Merryweather in for the touchdown. 35-yard strike. Hartman to Merryweather.
One more time, the story is up front. The protection is clean. Sam looks at it again, and then finally he sees Tobias Merryweather. 6'4", 205 pounds. Look at this guy run. A big-time route. He runs up on the defender. He climbs on his feet. No middle of the field, safety help. Sam sees it, delivers a strike. Tobias finishes it.
Set up nicely by that 4th down conversion by Rico Flores. And the extra point is good. Well, how many times do we watch practice and you see Tobias Merryweather run a post? They've been talking about it all year. Get him the ball on that route. And they finally did.
I just wanted to give a special shout out to our seniors. Since the day I got here, they've been there to support me, show me the ropes of how this place works. I'm just super thankful for the kind of man that they're helping me grow into. So thank you, seniors.
Great to hear from these young receivers. Rico Flores, big 4th down conversion on that last drive. Jaden Greathouse, a little shout out to the senior class. A lot of smiles on the face of Sam Hartman so far today. 8 plays, 66 yards, 4:28 off the clock, then the 35-yard touchdown to Merryweather, his 2nd of the season. And this kick makes it into the end zone for the touchback.
This Notre Dame defense has dominated Wake Forest early on, but on the last drive, there was a couple trick plays that got Wake Forest started. It's the reverse to Banks, and then he throws the pass up the sidelines to Williams. Then they come back, all the linemen fall down. Looks like it's going to be a double pass one more time. Williams showing his ability to run with the ball after the catch. And these 2 plays loosened up Notre Dame's defense. Weren't quite as good on the touchdown run after that. Let's see how they respond on this drive. Looks like more pressure from Notre Dame.
Kern will run the option here. Flip this football back. Ellison trying to gain that edge, but Jean-Baptiste has been all over the field, and Jean-Baptiste ran him down.
Yeah, Warren Ruggiero is the offensive coordinator for Wake Forest, and all he's trying to do is take the edge off this Notre Dame defense. They were downhill and attacking and blitzing on those first couple drives, so anything he can do to slow them down and disorient them, that time we're going to option the end. So look for more of that kind of stuff to loosen up Notre Dame, and then they'll try to attack them with more conventional plays.
Try to run it straight up the middle with Ellison. And Ellison runs into the arms of Howard Cross, who made the tackle.
The other part of that approach is it takes pressure off the quarterback. When you're running those kinds of plays, you're not just dropping back and having him deal with protection and go through progressions. You're having him run some stuff that keeps the defense off balance. Easier for him to execute. They find themselves in a big third down. It's 3rd and 4 in this situation. Looks like Notre Dame's up in the... A lot of pressure up front. Look at these guys showing heat.
And Wake has struggled on 3rd down. Here's Kern. Scanning. He's a great athlete. Now Kern turns it up the sideline out to the 45. That was J.D. Bertrand who had to shove him out of bounds. That's one thing they kept talking about with Michael Kern, though. He can run, and you see it.
That's what they said. You haven't seen a lot of him on tape. He's a good drop-back passer, but he has the ability to escape and get out. And for him to capture that edge and make a big play on his feet on this 3rd and 4, pretty good. When you make a play like that early on, as you're still trying to find your rhythm, makes a big difference, certainly bolsters the confidence.
And offensively, everything was hard against NC State a week ago for Wake Forest. So happy to see points on the board. Happy to see that 1st down. Now Ellison trying to get outside and maybe lost a half a yard. So what are you noticing that's working now after that NC State performance and some of the comments Clawson had after the game? Pretty profound, really. He was down, disappointed on where the program was coming off that loss.
Yeah, a real disaster for them last week against NC State. They made 2 first downs in the first half. They were completely dominated in every aspect. And Coach Clawson was pretty candid after the ball game. He said, hey, you know, we don't know where we are as a program right now. And this from a guy who's really transformed his Wake Forest program over the last decade.
Sure has. Kern complete. It's Fields. Horatio Fields with his first catch and crosses midfield.
And I think the big thing for them is really trying to find their identity. And you say, hey, you know, we're almost towards the end of the season here. We've played 10 games. We're still talking about identity. Well, when you lose a quarterback like Sam Hartman, sometimes you are. They've gotten away from the slow mesh a little bit, put a new quarterback in there, and they're kind of looking for answers. These last couple drives, they've had some success.
Kern full for 7, 24 yards through the air, 3 carries for 10 yards on the ground. 3rd down. Handoff. Big hole opens up. It's Ellison, and Ellison has that 1st down as he takes it down to the 35 of Notre Dame.
And all of a sudden, this running game starts to open up. We saw it on the touchdown, and now here in a 3rd down situation, Notre Dame, their edge is off a little bit. Still pressure by Bertrand. Good job on the backside, cutting him off, and then giving Ellison a chance to find a crease. Offensive line blocking the down guys, getting to the 2nd level. Ellison showing his vision.
Kern, nice pocket. And this pass is caught. It's Fields again, so Fields getting activated on this drive. Just had a catch, now another. Gain of 16.
He sure is, and they're stacked up outside. And you'll see Fields, he'll work vertically down the field. It looks like it's going to be one of those quick screen and go, and then he just comes back and runs a hook route. And again, the protection is the story for both teams. Kern had plenty of time to throw it. He worked from one side of the field back to the other side. Fields finished it.
Kern hands it off. And nothing there for Justice Ellison. And Ellison, last 2 games, only 8 carries for 22 yards. So any production on the ground is better than what he'd been working with.
And it's a good opportunity for Ellison. Damon Claiborne, the sophomore, really highly recruited running back. He's been out, so Ellison gets an opportunity. Carney, who scored the touchdown, he'll get his opportunity. And they got to feel good about where they are. Just under 2 minutes to go, down 7 and driving with an opportunity to tie this thing up going into halftime.
Kern on the roll, eyes downfield toward the end zone and lets it fly out of bounds. It's like Xavier Watts, who was there covering on Williams.
Notre Dame's defense has been so good in so many different areas, but where they've improved the most is in the red zone. They gave up the red zone touchdown earlier, but over the course of the year, dramatic improvement from last year. One of the worst things they did in 22, now one of the best things they do is play red zone defense and keep teams out of the end zone. Wake finds themselves in the 3rd and long. Looks like pressure from Notre Dame.
Wake 2 for 4 on 3rd down for the game, 2 for 2 on this drive.
One thing we know for sure, Al Golden is not afraid to dial up some heat.
Kern hands the football off. A lane opens up off the right side of that offensive line for Justice Ellison. He's going to come up a little short.
They're first at the half.
And a timeout for Notre Dame. A little decision perhaps here for Coach Clawson.
Yeah, good timeout by Marcus there. Obviously trying to preserve time for his guys to come back the other way. But, you know, Clawson runs it there, and you think, well, we'll run it and make them use a timeout, kick a field goal. They make 7 yards. Now they get themselves in a 4th and a long 2. It is decision time. You're certainly enticed by the idea of let's keep this drive going, let's tie the score up. But the last thing you want to do is not come away with points in this situation. Sounds pretty good after last week to go into halftime 14-10. Looks like that's what they're going to do, kick the field goal.
Like the idea?
I do. You want to pay off this drive, particularly because you didn't have good drives early. And to come out of this half saying, hey, we drove the ball twice, 1 for a touchdown, 1 for a field goal, 14-10. We're down by 4 at Notre Dame. For a team that's lost 6 out of their last 7, you got to feel pretty good about the first 30 minutes.
Matthew Dennis, 14 of 19 for the season from 30 yards away. And Dennis has it blocked.
There it goes.
And who else would scoop it up? It's Watts, Xavier Watts, and Watts takes it out across the 30. So you remember all of the blocked punts. That was the story of a year ago on the special team side for Notre Dame. Field goal attempt. It's swatted away by the Irish.
Look at Biaggi. Great stuff.
And coming up on the All-State halftime report, Rhea Taylor, Joshua Perry, Matt Castle going to recap the first half as Michigan figures out a way to hold on against Maryland. ACC as well as the SEC championships are set. Let's go back to the block. Jean-Baptiste again.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time talking about Clawson's strategy, what you want to do before half, but ultimately football comes down to execution. Excellent job by Jean-Baptiste getting the big paw up there, knocking it away.
Darian Price. Price picks up 6. Already has 4 tackles on the day. Talking about Baptiste, now a field goal block to his name.
Sam Hartman's been great in 2 minute all year long, both before the half and at the end of the ball game.
And Hartman pressured, lucky just to get rid of this football. It's Wayman, Kendron Wayman, who was in his face, and Hartman just had to get rid of it.
Price is the running back in the game, and protection's a big part of it. We've seen that a couple times on both sides today. Wayman comes around the edge. Price needs to step up in there, hit him right up under his chin. He doesn't do so. Sam feels the brunt of it.
Notre Dame 3 for 6 on 3rd down. Hartman complete. Rico Flores. And Rico Flores going to move the sticks.
Plenty of time here. Notre Dame has 2 timeouts. Clock is going to pause temporarily after a first down, but you can see the command that he has in these situations. Knowing the down and distance, getting the first and getting right back on the ball.
Hartman scanning, another completion, one more time to Rico Flores. They play so well in this situation. You go, why don't you just run the offense like that all the time?
Oldest story in football. Love how he kept moving in the pocket. And again, the story is the protection. Got through to his third or fourth receiver right there, finding Flores, the rolling.
Hartman in his element. Outside. This time it's Merryweather. Tobias Merryweather already has the touchdown and picks up 9.
And love the timeout by Marcus Freeman there. When you have 2, once you get in that 45-second range, and it's going to take you a little while to get a ball snapped, call the timeout, preserve that last timeout. Good drive. They're in scoring zone right now.
And we'll be back in 30 seconds. Wake Forest fans are very familiar with this Sam Hartman show as he's taking the Irish right down the field before halftime. A 2nd and 1, 36 seconds to play. Hartman, pressure, Hartman complete. And this is caught by Jaden Greathouse. And Greathouse inside the 15.
And they're going to clock it here. You make the first down, the clock will pause. So then you spike the ball. Now you have 3 downs, but preserve that last timeout. You can throw the ball anywhere.
So 8 different receivers have caught a pass for Hartman now.
You know, Sam played in that slow mesh offense at Wake Forest, and one of the things that happens in the slow mesh is you play with people around you. You hold that fake for a long time, and you find yourself close to the lineman. You got a glimpse of it right there. As he's working through his progression, there's a lot of linemen around him, and he's able to still stand in there and make the throw. He starts to the right, works to the middle, works back to the left, a guy in his face, and still delivers a strike. He was trained doing slow mesh. Excellent throw.
Now Hartman walking over to the sideline in frustration.
Notre Dame, their 3rd and final of the half. It will be 30 seconds.
Well, you certainly don't want to use the final timeout like that.
Yeah, absolutely not. And that's a situation where it probably went through his head, should I take this delay? But he uses the timeout. And again, in college football, after you get that opportunity, when you convert a first down, the clock is going to pause for a little bit. So it gives you a chance to reset. He just has to understand if you're going to run the ball or you're going to complete something short, it better be worthwhile because you don't want to lose all this time. You'd rather throw the ball out of bounds or into the end zone to preserve the time.
Freeman frustrated. 2nd and 10, 26 seconds remain, and now no timeouts for Notre Dame. Hartman pressured, and this is the last thing you want if you're Notre Dame, and he's trying to just get rid of that football. It's Bryce Gaines right there in his face.
Oh, and he caught it.
And so the clock is rolling, and now Hartman gets up and just going to spike that football.
Just a bad sequence right there for Notre Dame. He's close to taking the sack. He's able to get away enough to throw the ball, but then it gets completed. If that ball goes incomplete, then you have an opportunity to call a legit 3rd down play before kicking the field goal. But once it's completed, the clock is going to run. You have no timeouts. You have to spike the ball to give yourself the opportunity to kick the field goal before the half. Not exactly what they wanted to do there, obviously.
Well, everything looked perfect until they got inside the 25, and then nothing looked perfect.
Yeah.
Now Spencer Schrader out for a 37-yard attempt. And Schrader, who was wide right this time, able to sneak it through. It was moving to the left. 17-7 Notre Dame.
The other part to that, in an ideal scenario, when you know you're going to have to clock the ball on 3rd down, you want to bleed a little bit more to clock it, so when you kick that field goal, you go into halftime. But, you know, these situations, every one of them is different. And when you get a quarterback pressure, all of a sudden, players just react. Sam reacts, receivers react, and didn't turn out the right way, but a good job flipping it around. They get the block kick, they come back and get a field goal, find themselves up 10 going into halftime.
I want to remind you, tomorrow, Sunday Night Football, Vikings head to Denver, take on the Broncos. Football Night in America. They're going to kick things off 7 p.m. Eastern time, NBC and Peacock. And then Thanksgiving night, 8 Eastern, 49ers going to travel to Seattle, take on the Seahawks. NFC West showdown headed your way.
A couple of great ball games.
Sure, that Vikings-Denver game, one of those you really didn't know what it was going to look like. Denver's struggling. Vikings have their quarterback get hurt. Both these teams heating up, and it got interesting fast.
Yeah, a month ago you hated the game. All of a sudden, each of them win 3 in a row. It's going to be a pretty good ball game there in Denver. And you'll be right there, Jack.
Sure will. And that is Jack Kaiser making the stop on special teams. So Notre Dame likely going to have a conversation about that sequence right there to end the half. They end up with the blocked field goal, get 3 the other way. 10-point lead heading into the break for Sam Hartman against his former team. Well, the sun beginning to set right there on the edge of Notre Dame Stadium as it dips below. It's a 10-point Irish lead at the break. Opportunity for even more points right there before halftime. End up settling for 3. Hartman's numbers against his former team. 15 of 22, 164, a couple of touchdowns. Found Ford, found Merryweather through the air on the other side. Michael Kern hanging in there. Roderick Estime, 13th Notre Dame player, 1,000+ rush yards in a season. Today, 11 carries, 59 yards in that first half. Wake Forest offense, last week compared to today, 7 to 74 on the ground. First downs already matched it, and the points already 1 more.
They've looked much better on offense, and it really started after that drive where they had a couple trick plays. They got Notre Dame's defense a little bit off balance. Look to see if they can keep that alive here in the first drive coming out of the second half.
Schrader in for the touchback, and let's go down to Lewis.
All right, Jack, well, I caught Dave Clawson coming out of the locker room, and I reminded him that they were -4 yards of offense in the first quarter. Then in that first drive of the second quarter, they had 72 yards of offense and a touchdown. I said, hey, Dave, how do you get back to that? And he said, well, it was the trick plays that we ran that softened up the defense. Then we were able to run some of our normal offense, and so look for us to kind of mix it up more here in the second half. As for Marcus Freeman, he says he wants to see his team play cleaner and finish drives. He said that the defense needs to tackle better. Wake Forest, of course, creating those big gash plays versus our man coverage. Clean that up, but cleaner offense. Take the 17 points, but clean it up here in the second half. Jack?
Lewis, thank you very much. And Kern on the roll. Just going to tuck it. Try to fight to get back to that line of scrimmage. That was Jack Kaiser who shoved him out of bounds with some force.
Kaiser hurt pretty good into this Notre Dame bench. It's a legal hit. He's just getting into the white, but then he disappears into a sea of blue jersey. That's lonely over there when you're on the opponent's sidelines.
Sure is. And it's been the Notre Dame seniors defensively. You look at the top tacklers, Cross, Bertrand, and Jean-Baptiste. The top 3. Kern pressure, time runs out, Kern goes down, J.D. Bertrand, ball comes out there. It's Riley Mills trying to recover it. J.D. Bertrand like a missile into the backfield, and Riley Mills comes up, says, our football. Will the refs agree? And they're having a conversation about it. Notre Dame ball.
Golden told us he's going to come after him. It's Leofau and Bertrand. It's a cross dog right down the middle of the offensive line of Wake Forest. They block Leofau. They don't block Bertrand. Look at Bertrand with that right hand punching it out. And Riley Mills recovers it. Golden said we're going to play soft and play zone. We're going to play man-to-man. But more importantly, as much as anything else, we're going to bomb them. We're going to blitz them. They've done that early and often. They did it on second down there. Made the biggest play of the game.
And Bertrand, a true football guy, said, to be honest with you, I don't really care about senior day. I care about winning this game for Sam Hartman. And he meant it when he said it. First down, now for Hartman. Across the formation comes Holden Stays. Fake it to Estime. Hartman looking toward the end zone. Perfect pass. Touchdown. Eli Raridan.
They call it sudden change. When you get a takeaway, take a shot. 3 tight ends in the game again. This is a run personnel group. They go play action. Sam buries the fake. And there's Raritan on the delayed corner route. They all suck up in there for the run. Sam sells it. He hides it. Buys himself a little time and drops a dime on Raritan.
It's an Aaron Rodgers caliber fake right there, isn't it?
There was.
Hides it away. Spencer Schrader, extra point is good. Just the 3rd ever catch for Eli Raritan and his first touchdown. Something you always mention, Jason Garrett, the air he puts under those deep throws, you can't do it any better.
Sam can drop them in.
And Notre Dame football is brought to you by Jersey Mike's Subs. Be a sub above. By Allstate, you're in good hands. And by Google and Samsung. Do more with Google on Android. McCree's Bakery in motion there. One of the finest South Bend traditions since 1978. Local family-owned business. Thanksgiving coming around the corner. And dessert being cooked up. Gotta love it.
Look at those cookies. Shamrock with the Notre Dame monogram. Pretty good stuff. Just like Sam Hartman on play action.
How about that fake?
It's great.
Football disappeared. Onside kick. Gonna try to get the football right back, and they're diving on top of it. Schrader, a perfect little onside kick there. And they're saying Notre Dame got on top of it. Talk about when you least expect it. Is that DJ Brown came up with the ball?
There's a kick recovered by the kicking team. First down, Notre Dame.
Attack, attack, attack. Al Golden dials up the blitz. Jared Parker dials up the play action. And now they dial up the onside kick. Notre Dame came out of this halftime saying, we're going to go win this game. We're going to go attack these guys, showing up in all 3 phases. They go up 17. They want more. Looks like it made it 10 yards before Notre Dame hit it. DJ Brown was right there. The Irish have it one more time. They're coming to take this game.
How about for Marty Biaggi? Already blocked a field goal. New special teams coordinator for Notre Dame. Getting creative there right after the touchdown. Goes onside kick, and Schrader could not have hit a better ball. Now Estime out across midfield. And it's time now for Players on the Rise, brought to you by Hyundai. Talk about on the rise. He's climbing up the charts. FBS career pass touchdown leaders, Baker Mayfield and company.
Yeah, he's been on the rise. Yeah, he's been on the rise for the last 5 years, and that's elite company right there. One more touchdown, he gets himself into 4th place. Graham Harrell, the offensive coordinator of Purdue. Kellen Moore out there with the Chargers. It's high cotton. Case Keenum leads them all. Still playing for the Texans.
2nd and 5, and this is going nowhere. Audric Estime lost a chunk. It's Kevin Pointer got there first.
You know, Jack, some guys know how to throw touchdowns. Some guys, when they get down in there close and they have a touchdown opportunity, they cash in on them. When you throw 131 touchdown passes in college football, Sam Hartman is certainly one of them, and that's been on display today. The touchdown to Ford, right on the money, gets away from the pressure. He finds Tobias on the deep post, buys himself some time, and then the play action one to Raritan. He's been doing that for the last 5 years here in college football. That's why you have that kind of production.
Wake Forest showing pressure. Hartman looks to the sideline. Now he's going to hand it off. This is Jabron Payne, and Payne is going to lose more yardage. So after that onside kick, the tricky onside kick, it's Pointer as well as Wayman making the stop for lost yardage.
Yeah, Brad Lambert's the defensive coordinator for Wake Forest. He says, hey, Al Golden likes to blitz. I like to blitz too. He came after him on that drive. Notre Dame gets the ball back. They get an extra opportunity on the onside kick. Wake Forest responds the right way. Now they're getting it back.
Defense bails out the kick return team.
They sure do.
And it did so quickly. McPherson with some backspin down to the 20, and that is where Taylor Morin calls for the fair catch.
You know, one of Sam Hartman's best buddies at Wake Forest is their left guard, Michael Juergens, was the center there for 3 years. One of the best interior players in the country, and you see him time and time again be able to reach a defender. And one of the best ways to evaluate an offensive lineman is where is he relative to the defender at the end of the down. And Michael Juergens is typically on his guy in great position. We've seen a lot of that so far in this ball game.
And the highest graded left guard in the Power 5, that's serious business. He's been playing some good football. Ellison met and dropped. And let's check in with Lewis.
Hey, Jack, Michael Juergens told me this week that Notre Dame is one of those places that you grew up watching on TV, and his grandmother, Ann Masak, went to St. Mary's College, which is just down the road from here, and she graduated in 1957. Now, the last time Wake Forest played here was 2018. Michael was a freshman, didn't play. The 2020 game was canceled due to COVID. So today is a big deal for Michael because his grandmother finally gets to see him play, and she's watching from Hagerstown, Maryland. Hope you're enjoying, Ann. Jack?
Gotta say hello. I like it, Lewis. Completion out here to the outside. It's Taylor Morin. And Juergens, 3 years as Sam Hartman's center. He can play all those spots. He can play center, left guard, right guard, you name it, bounce around. So making his family members proud.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And Sam told us that he and Juergens are going to be in a wedding together in March. So good buddies, lifelong friends, two awfully good players.
3rd and 5. 2 for 5 on 3rd down so far.
Looks like pressure. Linebackers up in the cleats of the defensive line.
Kern drops complete. It's Williams, and Williams is going to go pick up that 1st down and move the chains for Wake.
Tell you what, this Keyshawn Williams is a good football player. You see him, there is pressure coming off the right side. Back steps up, protects, puts it right on Williams' face mask. But Williams just has a knack. His run after catch, we saw that on the big explosive play when they were trying the double pass. You see it right there, get the pads down and drive and get a 1st down. He's an aware football player, been really productive for Wake Forest.
Kern hands it off, Ellison. Ellison cuts it back and gains nice yardage. Give him 9 before he's shoved out of bounds by DJ Brown.
This Bertrand, this guy is everywhere. You see him right here in the middle of your screen. He's been blitzing all day long. Kaiser goes first. Bertrand gets a little bit confused by it, and then he goes and chases it down. He's one of the smartest, most prepared linebackers that Notre Dame has. Led them in tackles the last couple of years.
Straight up the middle, and picking up that 1st down is Ellison. So J.D. Bertrand yesterday clear about his desires to play in the NFL. How do you view him as an NFL prospect?
I think he's an NFL player. You know, we had a player in Dallas for a number of years, Sean Lee, who was one of the best linebackers in the NFL. And Bertrand and Sean have developed a relationship over the last couple of years, and they kind of remind me of each other. They love ball, they're so prepared, they're instinctive, and they're always around the ball. And when you keep leading the team in tackles, that's a good thing for a linebacker. There's no doubt in my mind it will translate to the NFL. He'll make a roster next year.
Great player, person, student, you name it. Kern on the roll, and this falls incomplete. Trying to find Keyshawn Williams once again.
And a big theme today for Notre Dame on defense is they're coming after him. They're going to pressure him. And when you're pressuring this offensive scheme, you have to play man-to-man coverage outside. And Al Golden has a lot of confidence in his corners outside. Cam Hart, the senior, Benjamin Morrison. He believes in these guys, not afraid to hang them out there on islands.
It's the best corner duo Notre Dame has had quite some time. And they ended up flipping him, putting Cam Hart to the wide side of the field, and got very comfortable, had his best year, 2023. Kern takes his time, now just going to scramble and run with it. Got awfully close to that 1st down. They're going to mark him just short. Bring up 3rd down.
Looks like Wake Forest is on the ball in one of these short yardage situations. Certainly 4-down territory for them. It's inside a yard.
See the signs over there coming in? I think LeBron James was on one of them. Getting more creative.
It's crazy stuff, isn't it?
Every week. Kern, handoff, met and dropped is Tate Carney. That's junior Tui Alamaka making the play for the Irish. 4th down.
Tui Alamaka is part of a rotation at that defensive end spot, and he shows up one more time here. Plays off his block, stays square. Does not let the runner push forward at all. It's a no gain. It's still inside a yard. I would anticipate a run one more time. They got heavy personnel in the game.
4th and a short one. Up the middle. Pile there.
I don't know.
Pushing in both directions. Did it move forward enough for Wake to get that first down? The spot looks favorable for Notre Dame. J.D. Bertrand says it's our ball.
Coach Madden used to talk about a right foot or left foot spot. The official on the other side of the field.
They turn over on downs. First down, Notre Dame.
Looks like he spotted it with his right. One more time, this Notre Dame defense steps up in situational football. They run it twice. 3rd and 1, nothing doing. 4th and 1, nothing doing. The Irish get it back one more time.
45 seconds to play. Notre Dame 31, Miami 30, and going for 2. Incomplete. This place about to explode. Notre Dame's biggest upset.
So Notre Dame knocked it off Miami. So many great memories. 500 games in this historic building. Above the rest, brought to you by Jersey Mike Subs, but so many memories. And you see the banners there representing them.
Yeah, Coach Johnson and that entire staff went from the University of Miami to the Dallas Cowboys. Ended up winning a lot of Super Bowls, but they never like to talk about that game.
Outside, Faison. And Faison going to go pick up that first down. He is electric with the football in his hands.
Sure is, and you know, Faison's a great story. He came to Notre Dame as a lacrosse player and a walk-on football player and was kind of running scout team. And the coaches looked at each other after a couple months and said, this guy's always open. He's killing our defense.
Jeremiah Love. Straight up the gut inside the 40. He takes it, and that was Kalen Carson who was limping off for Wake Forest defensively, their best corner, their best cover guy.
Yeah, so Notre Dame's banged up at receiver, and they say, hey, let's activate Faison. Let's give him a chance. They were hoping to maybe redshirt him and keep him just practicing, and they go to Louisville. First time they throw him the football, he catches a touchdown, and every time he's got an opportunity, he seemed to come up and make the plays. So someone who's a big part of this offense here today.
This is Love, and Love as a penalty marker flies, trying to fight to pick up that first down. It's interesting talking about Faison. The first guy whose attention he caught was Pete Bavakla, the next athletic director. But even just in practice, he said, this guy's going to be special.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 45. That 15-yard penalty is added to the end of the play. Automatic first down.
It's face mask on Nick Anderson.
Just at the end of the down, he gets that left hand up in there and leaves it there. And as soon as the runner's head jerks like that, they're going to call that. But it is a great story. Pete Bavakla, we're at training camp in August. He said, this little guy right here, this little guy, the lacrosse player, I'm telling you, the guy's good. And we're like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. Next thing you know, he's catching touchdowns.
He can evaluate talent. You had a guy like Cole Beasley. Remind you of him?
He sure does. He sure does. These sneaky good athletes. They're so hard to guard inside.
Hartman.
Faster than you think.
Looking downfield. Complete. Rico Flores. And Flores takes it inside the 5. Rico starting to heat up.
A lot of freshman receivers showing up here for Notre Dame. Flores is the inside receiver on this one. And he just runs up and runs out. He was wide open, and they talk a lot about his ability to win in one-on-one and also his feel and zone. Protection is clean again. Sam sees it, throws a strike. The Irish are knocking on the door one more time.
In the touchdown machine, Audric Estime. Estime gets the football. Estime walks in for the touchdown.
How many times over the last couple of years, Jack, have we been in this situation where we've seen Notre Dame drive the ball, get inside the 5-yard line, and everybody in the building knows number 7's getting the ball. Offensive line comes off the ball and give it to this guy. See Raritan on the left. The interior of his offensive line. Flanagan goes back. Estime has excellent vision for a big guy. You see the lateral quickness. Notre Dame controls the line of scrimmage. He certainly knows what to do with it.
Spencer Schrader's extra point is pure. So Notre Dame fans are loving this form of the Irish offense. Hartman heating it up, get down in the red area, give the football to Audric Estime, doing what he does best. Nothing quite like sneaking over to the grotto, light a candle over there. 5 plays, 54 yards, 2:01 off the clock. Estime, 14th touchdown of the season as the moon is shining down. The sun was shining all day. Now the moon is out. It is just a perfect night in South Bend. Schrader sent it deep and in for the touchback. So for Kern, we saw him put together one nice drive, and on that drive it was a mix of using his legs and throwing the football some too. What's the formula to get him going?
The thing they have to be careful of here is looking at the scoreboard. They're down 24, 5:22 in the third. It's going to be tough sledding, but the only way they're going to get back into it is one drive at a time. And the way they do that, high percentage throws, and he can't be afraid to use his feet. Some of the best plays they've had are Kern escaping. That's got to be a big part of what they do on this drive.
Kern hands it off, Justice Ellison. Now Ellison bursts through into the secondary. He goes and takes it out across the 40, so that will help Kern get going.
Yeah, that always helps. And Notre Dame has had a hard time with some of this. You know, it's this run here, and you stretch it, and then you get yourself north and south. And we've seen that a number of times. They pull the backside lineman, and they stretch it, and they cut the defense. And Ellison getting this opportunity. Had a big game against Virginia Tech a few weeks ago, showing that same stuff here today.
Kern pressures, moves off that spot, finds a new spot, now has a completion. It's Deuce Alexander. Deuce, the true freshman, scored a touchdown on his only reception of his career against NC State last week. He was fired up after that touchdown, celebrating in the end zone as another grab, as now you see bad news on the side of Wake Forest. That's Carson, their best corner, making his way into the locker room.
Sure is, and Alexander did come up big last week, but another good example of Kern being able to stand in there with people around him and deliver a throw. It's a big-time throw under duress.
Empty it out for Kern. They're going to try to run the quarterback draw, and there is no room for him to run. And you see J.D. Bertrand right there, Michael Juergens saying, "Get off my back."
That's Hartman's guy right there. They're going to be in the wedding together.
And let's check in with Lewis.
All right, Jack. Well, the Notre Dame defense has really given the Wake Forest quarterback fits today. He's been sacked twice and only 60 yards of passing. A few moments ago, Irish defensive coordinator Al Golden said this to his entire defense: "We have completely fooled this quarterback, and if we can keep him in the pocket, that's the key to this game." How about that?
Lewis, they've done that quite often this year.
They sure have.
Caleb Williams, he has done some job talking about Al Golden as defensive coordinator. Did they get this off in time, or a timeout come first?
Delay of game.
Delay of game.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. It's still second down.
Been so impressed with this Notre Dame defense under Al Golden, the progression from year 1 to year 2, and it's great coaching. He identified some of the issues they had last year, some of the defense they had in that they didn't really use, and really focused on, hey, what do we need to be good at to beat the opponents that we have? And we've seen it time and time again this year coming up They played fundamentally awfully well, situationally awfully well. No different today.
Kern swings it out. Jamal Banks. And Banks inside Notre Dame territory.
If you look at the numbers for them this year, you know, they were towards the bottom of FBS in some of these categories last year, but now top 10 in yards, 11th in points, top 10 in takeaways and red zone TD percentage. And again, it was a coaching staff thinking about what's best for their personnel, thinking about what's best for the opponents they play, and they come out every week and they execute. It's been impressive to watch.
3rd and 6, likely 4-down territory. Kern drops, don't need that 4th down. 1st down right here to Jamal Banks.
Jack, if you watch Wake Forest play offensive football, they complete that ball a lot. It's a hook route. It's an old school zone route where you push up the field, you put your outside foot in the ground, and you drive back to the quarterback. And they have clinic real examples of this. You see Banks driving down the field, gets close to the defender, Benjamin Morrison, then he drives back to the quarterback. Quarterback cuts it loose. That's how they complete a lot of their balls.
Kern flips it that direction again. It's Banks on Morrison, and Al Golden was saying they're willing to take some losses. They're willing to take some sacks and some incompletions as they wait on that matchup that they really want. And the matchup that they always seem to want is with Jamal Banks.
Absolutely. 6'4". He's one of those guys as a quarterback, when he's out there by himself, you say, hey, I'm going to throw it to the big guy. Good things are going to happen and nothing bad's going to happen. And been a really productive player for them this year and throughout his career.
They felt like Benjamin Morrison was the best corner in the country, but still throwing the football towards Banks. Kern drops, and this ball rolls out. It's Keyshawn Williams, who couldn't hang on.
Just really like how Notre Dame has approached this game defensively. It's aggressive. We're going to blitz them, but not only blitz them, we're going to play man-to-man. And, you know, Wake Forest has some players outside. We talked about Banks, Keyshawn Williams, Taylor Moore, and all these guys are productive receivers, but they have confidence in their guys to guard them, and you see it bear out over the course of the game. There's good reasons why they're putting them in those positions. They're holding up. 3rd and 10 on the fringe of it. You can't go backwards here. Possible 4-down territory for Wake Forest.
Handoff. That's not going to work. Riley Mills said no. That's Tate Carney, who was trying to work his way to the edge. And Riley Mills, one of the strongest guys anywhere in college football.
This guy is awfully good. And you talk about guys who are going to be players in the NFL. No doubt in my mind that Riley Mills is going to be one. He's 6'5", 300 pounds. Probably be one of those Pittsburgh Steeler-type defensive ends who does all the dirty work, but really improved getting away from blockers and shedding them. Really improved as a pass rusher. You saw the athleticism there.
And movement here, that's Michael Juergens. And Juergens was just beat by Mills.
55, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
So they've had some issues with that offensive line. It's Juergens who has been the rock. He's been the best. 5 tackles for loss for the Notre Dame defense today.
Yeah, and you get in that situation where you're on the fringe on 3rd down. You say, hey, possible 4-down territory. You can't go backwards. Typically, you're thinking about, hey, don't take a sack. They take a tackle for loss. They have a pre-snap penalty. Now it becomes 4th and long. I think this is the right decision by Clausen. You punt it and try to play field position. Running out of time, though. Notre Dame declined it.
So it's Ivan Mora on to punt. And Chris Tyree is back deep for Notre Dame. Mora sends it inside the 5 with no backspin and into the end zone. It will go. So 31-7. Notre Dame trying to finish off their home games this season the right way, and they are on the path.
Joshua Perry here with the Game Break. James Madison was one of 7 undefeated teams coming into today, playing App State, the upset machine. In overtime, Joey Aguilar to Caden Robinson for the game-winning touchdown. Just 6 undefeateds left. Back to you, Jack.
Joshua, how about App State, Appalachian State figuring out a way to get it done. No upset brewing here in South Bend. It's been all Irish, 31-7, under 30 seconds to play in this third quarter. Hartman play action. Rico Flores, and Flores with a nice grab over there before he hits his backside, working on Glasgow. Third quarter winding to a close.
We talked about Sam Hartman controlling his emotions, playing against Wake Forest, where he had been for the last 5 years, all those relationships. I think it's safe to say that he controlled them as the game has gone on. He's been outstanding.
Really one of the best games we've seen him play.
No doubt.
In control, getting back to that retro deep ball fans of college football are used to seeing Sam Hartman throw. All Irish through 3.
Time now for a look from above, brought to you by Walmart Plus. We're looking at Joe Alt, the left tackle at Notre Dame. 6'8", great athlete, outstanding protector. But I love him in the run game. There's this thing called the last shove. You block your guy, you block your guy, you block your guy. At the end of the down, you shove him. You show him who's in charge, and he's always on his guy. He always finishes with a last shove. He reminds me of another great Notre Dame offensive lineman that we had in Dallas, future Hall of Famer Zach Martin. They're cut from the same cloth. Unfortunately for Irish fans, this guy's going to go to the NFL draft this spring. I bet he's a top 10 pick. Whoever takes him is not going to have to address the offensive tackle position until about 2035.
That's a good point. All likelihood, his last game inside Notre Dame Stadium. Start the third, Estime. Big hole opens up for Estime. Joe Alt and company over there on the left side of the offensive line, doing a job.
We talked about it earlier with Juergens. Ultimately, the sign of good offensive line play, are you on your guy at the end of the down? So you look at Alt, he's the left tackle. You look at the interior, Ashton Craig. They've been on Wake Forest's guys early in the down and at the end of the down. They stay on it. They sustain their blocks, giving guys like Estime plenty of opportunity to get to the second level.
Jaden Greathouse in motion. Hartman, play action on the roll. Threw the football where no receivers were. Was Rico Flores in the area as well as Jaden Greathouse.
Really like how Jared Parker, the offensive coordinator for Notre Dame, has set things up throughout the game. They run the ball well, they go play action. They use 13 personnel, 3 tight ends to run it. They go play action in the red zone for a touchdown. They free release the back for another touchdown. So we set things up throughout the game, really keeping Wake Forest on their heels throughout.
Hartman drops the pass. To the outside, it's Rico Flores. Did he get those feet in bounds? Referee says yes. Out across midfield goes Flores. Gain of 12.
One more time, the pass pro has been clean throughout. A couple freshmen starting inside. They've been up to the task time and time again. They're blocking their guys. Sam Hartman, comfortable pocket. And if you're an NFL scout evaluating quarterbacks, wide hashes in college. Hartman's on the left hash. He throws an out route all the way across the field, puts it on the boundary. This guy's got plenty of arm to play at the next level.
Pistol formation. Fake it to Estime. Back to the air. Hartman downfield. Another completion. This is Greathouse. Greathouse toward the end zone and in for the score. Touchdown, Notre Dame. 52-yard catch and run for Jaden Greathouse.
One more time, it's the protection up front. You go play action. It's a clean pocket for Sam Hartman. Greathouse is in the slot. He runs the deep over route. Very productive early in the year. The freshman out of Austin, Texas, 3 touchdowns. Been a little quiet lately, showing up one more time. Again, the call, go play action when you run the ball so well. helps the lineman in protection, pockets clean, big-time throw and catch. The Irish are rolling.
And they really missed Greathouse through some of the toughest games on the schedule, bouncing back from that hamstring injury. 3 touchdowns the first 3 games of the season, and there's his 4th. And tonight, don't miss an all-new Saturday Night Live with host Jason Momoa, musical guest Tate McRae, all-new SNL Tonight Live, coast to coast on NBC and Peacock. There they are, getting set. Momoa showing off some dance moves.
There is.
That looks like a guy that can play some football.
No doubt.
Plenty of size. Hartman's 3rd game, 4 touchdown passes. 3rd game was 4 of them. Also did it against Navy and NC State.
He has been sharp today, and we talked about controlling his emotions. All these seniors, such a special day, their last opportunity here to play at Notre Dame Stadium. They've channeled their emotions the right way. Been a heck of a performance.
This is Wesley Grimes on the return. So 4th place belongs to Hartman all by himself.
He's on the rise, climbing that ladder. Graham Harrell is in his sights. I think he gets him, and hey, Kellen Moore, you better watch out. If he keeps this pace up, he's coming after you too.
Going over and showing some love to that offensive line, an offensive line with some new players on the interior today. Billy Shrout as well as Ashton Craig moving into that starting lineup as they had some injuries on the inside of the offensive line, and they have been playing well. Stepping in. This is Carney, and Carney to the 29.
Those 2 young guys have been impressive for Notre Dame, and the biggest issue with them was simply inexperience, but they seem to handle it well. Wake Forest tries to move their front a lot to try to create confusion on the offensive line. They didn't seem bothered one bit by it.
Slow mesh, eventually hands it away, and runs into the arms of Ramon Henderson.
The lasting image in this game for me is J.D. Bertrand trying to cheat the snap count. He's been downhill all day long, creating havoc for this Wake Forest run game and for their quarterback, Michael Kern. There's Bertrand. Talk about chomping at the bit. We had a great visit with him yesterday, and I do believe he's going to be an NFL player, but I'll tell you what, if you got any business of any kind, get J.D. Bertrand on your side. You're going to be successful. He's something else.
Kern flips it outside. Nice tackle made by Christian Gray, the true freshman, and they are high on that true freshman. Of course, there's nowhere to play right now. You got Morrison, you got Hart, but Christian Gray, a little glimpse of the future of that position.
You're exactly right. They are high on him, and it's easy to see why, showing the physicality there, but we saw him a couple weeks ago against Pitt making a one-handed interception down the sideline. So he's got a lot of talent, and he's got a little gumption. He's got a little something in his neck, too. He likes to play. He's not afraid of the moment.
Jordan Faison back deep for Notre Dame. Mora to punt. You got to be careful giving Faison an opportunity. He'll have one here from just about the 10, and Faison able to get away from one and get out to the 20. 38-7. Notre Dame putting on a show on Senior Day. So Steve Angeli checks in at quarterback. Sam Hartman, a big-time ovation from the home crowd during the break. They were playing Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You, and you had Sam Hartman who was trying to avoid the cameras. He did give him a little thumbs up, but then he kept trying to put the attention back on Angeli, go give Angeli his moment, and that really is who he's been ever since he got to Notre Dame.
There's absolutely no doubt about that. It's been so much fun getting to know Sam over the course of this year. Been a big admirer from afar for a long time, but he is a guy who loves football. He's a selfless teammate. He's been awfully good for the Irish all year long.
Angeli comes in, hits Flores. Flores lost that football, though. It was a big hit right there at the conclusion of the play. Flags come out. Glasker with a shot.
A lot of conversation.
Trying to put the pieces together.
They sure are. Looks like it's going to be on Wake Forest.
The ruling on the field is a catch, fumble recovered by the defense. However, personal foul, targeting defense number 35, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. The play is under review.
So it's Rashawn Tongue. And they're going to say this targeting is on. One more look. Oh, boy.
You know, to me, Jack, it's an age-old debate about who's targeting who. You know, you see Flores put the head down. Tongue comes in there at the end of it. The ball definitely comes out. Wake Forest recovers it. Let's get Reggie in here. He'll give us a good explanation of what's going on.
So what we've got to consider here is the fact that the ball carrier is not defenseless.
There is no foul for targeting. Number 35 may remain in the game. First down, Wake Forest.
Now, because he's a ball carrier, he's not defenseless by rules. So in order to have targeting, number 35 would have had to lower and lead with the crown of his helmet in order for this. As we see here in the replay, this is just a glancing blow, not a forcible blow as needed by rule, and a very good decision to reverse the call on the field.
Yeah, Reg, thank you very much. But ideally, you'd like to see Rico keep his head up, all right? I mean,
no doubt.
For a variety of reasons. Flores fumble, Wake jumps on top of it. Kern back onto the field. He's pressured in a hurry. That was Nana Osapa-Mensah in his face.
You know, it's getting harder and harder to play defense in football these days, and for obvious reasons. Everyone's trying to make sure player safety is first and foremost. But those bang-bang plays, when a guy's going down and he lowers and you lower and the helmets are big and you get these glancing blows, I thought they did a good job processing that and putting it into that category of a glancing blow and taking the penalty off of it.
Kern takes his time, takes too much time, and down he goes. There's a group of Irish defenders, Onye as well as Tuialamaka combined.
Great opportunity for a lot of the young guys to come out there and play, and you just see the surge by the defensive line up front. Onye one more time. He was part of that field goal block earlier, just swarming Kern. He has no chance.
That's the third Notre Dame sack this afternoon. Ellison with a nice move, and Ellison dips inside the 30.
And you would think this would be 4-down territory in this situation. And again, it's so much fun to see some of these guys, younger players, getting a chance to play, but maybe more importantly, some of the seniors who haven't played that much, getting a chance to go out there and fly around a little bit and be a part of this victory. They're certainly playing with the right spirit on the defensive side.
So 4th and 6. Kern, dangerous pass, and lucky to see that ball fall incomplete. That was Clarence Lewis who could have had the pick, and he had room out in front to run if he had caught it. So Notre Dame defense getting the job done. Familiar theme. Steve Angeli in at quarterback. Angeli gives, it's Estime, and we mentioned earlier Jack Swarbrick, and this is his final home game as we have penalty markers on the field, a couple of them that came out late.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Just talking with Marcus Freeman about his boss and Jack Swarbrick, and you know, some of the things he was saying. He said,
number 45.
Jack told him, Marcus, you're young. You have new ideas. We want your new ideas. We're excited about your new ideas, but understand the values of Notre Dame never change. And Coach Freeman said, he's a boss, but he's a mentor. He shares ideas with me, but never tells me what to do. He's willing to take the other side if I feel strongly about something, just to challenge my position and challenge everything has become the messaging of Freeman's program. Handoff, Estime with space, a flag is down. He takes it inside Wake territory over into the Wake bench.
As we process this flag, just continuing on Jack Swarbrick, what an asset for a guy like Marcus Freeman.
Holding. Offense number 87, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
you know, a young head coach, first-time head coach, the leader of this storied program, and, you know, first time in this role to have a guy like Swarbrick who's just, like you said, he's a mentor, but he's also a partner, and he's providing perspective, and he's providing the other perspective and allowing you to talk things through, football stuff, program stuff, off the field stuff, family stuff. And, you know, you could just tell they're hip to hip in their relationship, and how much Marcus has benefited from the experience and the wisdom of Swarbrick through the years.
Jelly, handoff, Estime says, hey, I'll do it again. And Estime picks up that first down. Back him up, instant replay.
Just hammer him one more time, and that's New Jersey to New Jersey right there. And Jelly and Estime, two New Jersey legends, playing those great Catholic schools. And, you know, we've talked about this before. When you're a backup quarterback, your best friend is a running back. Handing the ball, throwing the ball, take some pressure off of you, and none better than Audric Estime.
You see Blake Fisher right there, the right tackle. We're talking Joe Alt earlier. Big decision upcoming for Blake Fisher, whether or not he wants to come back and try his hand in the NFL. This is Estime, and the pitch that they're putting towards Fisher, talking about Marcus Freeman, is come back and play left tackle. Come back and take Joe Alt's position and prove you can play on both sides of the offensive line. Is it a good pitch? How would you hear it if you're Fisher?
You know, Blake Fisher's going to be an NFL player. He's everything you're looking for. He's big, he's 6'6", 315. He's strong, he's athletic, he's just raw technically right now. So I think he would benefit from another year in college. I think the way the NFL sees him now is he's a project. He has potential. He goes over and plays left tackle next year for 12, 13 ball games. He'll be a high first-round pick.
And Jelly getting it going. Completion here to Greathouse.
Tackles are hard to come by, and so NFL teams want them. And if you have the stuff that Blake Fisher has, he's going to be an attractive guy, but it's almost strategy for him in his future. How can you best position yourself when you do get drafted to go highest and go to the best place? And I think having a little bit more time is going to benefit him. Joe Alt's ready to go right now. Blake Fisher would benefit from another year, especially playing over on the left side.
First and 10 as Jelly tries to make his case to be the next quarterback of Notre Dame. There's Estime, and Estime more positive yardage. Up over 100 yards on his day.
When Audric Estime is tired at the end of the game, that means it's been a good day for Notre Dame, and the statistics bear that out. When he's been a productive player, that's when they win. When he's had fewer opportunities and been less productive, those are the games they've struggled in. And, you know, it all fits together. The offensive line winning up front, giving him run lanes, but that's when the play-action game comes alive. That's when they've made their big explosive plays down the field in games when they run the ball, in games when Audric Estime has been the featured player.
There's Estime, and he runs right into the backside of Ashton Craig, who's getting the start at center. And I know that Wake, in terms of the interior of their defense, is not close to the caliber of what they ran into at Clemson. But these guys stepping in inside on the offensive line, they've looked pretty good, really.
They sure have. Two redshirt freshmen, Craig and Strouth. Craig playing center, Strouth playing right guard. They've really stepped in and been impressive, and the concern was the inexperience. How are they going to handle it? How are they going to handle the snaps? How are they going to handle the defensive line movement? And these two guys haven't blinked. The protection's been as good as it's been all year long, giving Hartman a comfortable pocket, and now they're controlling the line of scrimmage in the run game.
Giving Jelly a comfortable pocket to step into. 3rd 2. And Jelly hands it off. Estime breaks the tackle, breaks another tackle, broke 2 of them, got the first down.
We've touched on this before, but there's a number of really good high school football programs in New Jersey. St. Joe's and Bergen Catholic and all these places. And it's almost like a pipeline to Notre Dame. And Jelly's a Bergen Catholic guy. And there he is right there, Crusaders. Estime is a St. Joe's guy. And there's St. Peter's and Jersey City. A lot of different guys. Jean-Baptiste, also a Bergen Catholic guy. Clarence Lewis from Mater Dei, and Howard Cross, St. Joe guys. So it's been a pipeline for a number of years. It's fun to see these guys working together.
Salerno in motion. Give goes to Price as he checks in for Estime. And for Estime, 5th 100-yard game of the year for him as he has 113 on the afternoon.
It's really one of the interesting things about Notre Dame is they truly are a national program, and they recruit guys from all over the country. There's a little bit of a Texas pipeline too. You go down to Austin and get Great House. You go to Denison, Texas, and you get Price. A number of these guys from everywhere, and I think that enriches the experience for these players to play with guys from all across the country. And one of the most storied programs in the land.
And Jelly scans end zone. Faison touchdown.
That's Bavacqua's guy right there.
Jordan Faison. Man, has he flashed this year.
He sure has. For a lacrosse guy, he really knows how to play football. He's the inside receiver. He runs the inside fade. It's man-to-man coverage. There's a lot of space. When you run that fade from that slot position, there's a lot of space outside. And Jelly delivering a strike, looking like a young Sam Hartman, just dropping that thing in there. He knew what he had. It was the right matchup. It's a tough down for Slocum trying to defend that thing. Good job by Angeli. And Faison cashing it in.
When they look back and evaluate offensively at the end of this season and go, who do we really want to get the football to more? You got to believe that Faison, came on in the middle of the season against Louisville, had that moment going for the touchdown when they were so desperate offensively. But you have to figure going into next year, get the football to Faison more will be a recipe. And Trolls is blasting joy into theaters now. Film starring Anna Kendrick, Justin Timberlake, features the new NSYNC hit Better Place. First new song more than 20 years. NSYNC keeping it going like that. Reunion that everybody can band together for. Trolls in theaters. So Estime has kept his season rolling along. Howard Cross, one of those guys they're trying to talk into coming back. I'll have that discussion with you here in just a second as well, as Wake Forest going to get the football back down 45-7. Under 4 to play in the 4th quarter. 22 years old, 5th year in college football. And his father, one of your teammates in New York.
Yeah, it sure was. His old man Howard was a great tight end for the Giants for a number of years, one of the best blocking tight ends in the history of the NFL. There's a look at Howard right there. His son, cut from the same cloth. You could argue that Howard Cross has played as well at his position as anybody has on Notre Dame all year long. He's a little bit undersized defensive tackle, but talk about productive tackles, tackles for loss, quarterback pressures. The guy has been everywhere. And we kind of laugh. He's like a poor man's Aaron Donald, same body type. Nobody's quite Aaron Donald, but he reminds you of him. The relentless nature, his ability to get off blocks and always be around the football. And, big discussion about a guy like that. Is he an NFL player next year? Should he wait? I know Irish fans want him back.
I liked how he said, I've heard I could be a high pick. I've heard I might be undrafted. There's one thing I'll tell you. I can 100% guarantee I'll make whatever team I go to. And I believe that.
Yeah, I love it. And he's such a nice guy, and he's a humble guy. But we visited with him yesterday, and there's not a chip on his shoulder. There's a mountain on his shoulder. And he believes he's as good as any defensive tackle in the country, and he knows he's going to be an NFL player.
Santino Marucci checks into the game for Wake and hands it off. It's Egby. David Egby, a true freshman with the carry and a good carry. But it was funny, too, as he was saying, his dad, when he's up in the stands, he'll signal certain things down to the field to Howard. Do this, do that, do this. He said, what does your dad always tell you? He says, run to the ball. And he said, even if I'm running the ball, he says, cool, run faster to the ball. There's Dad in the hat watching on.
Yeah, and his dad's right. You talk about players who leap off the tape, guys who are productive and guys who sprint to the football, they leap off to the tape. Coaches love them. Teammates love them. Those are the kind of guys you want on your team, and that's what Howard Cross is all about.
Third and short, hand it off. Egby, and Egby going to pick up the first down.
Just a quick word on Dave Clawson at Wake Forest. You know, this guy went in there. Wake Forest has traditionally not been an incredibly successful football program. This guy went in there 10 years ago, and think about it. He's been to 7 bowl games at Wake Forest, and he's built, you know, one of the best programs. It's a small school. They play a competitive schedule, and year in and year out, they're as good as anybody down there in the ACC. And you know, the world of college football is changing. NIL and transfer portal, and I think he, like many people, are having to adjust. But this guy's one of the best coaches in the country. His work has proved itself out over the last couple decades, leading a lot of different programs.
And they lost a lot of starters, but the biggest loss, of course, is Sam Hartman. And just talking with Clausen, he said, you know, we're extremely close, talking about his former quarterback. Started as a true freshman, lost the starting job in 2019 after getting hurt. They convinced him to stay, played well, earned the job back. 2021, 2022, couple great years, threw for about 8,000 yards the last 2 seasons together. So we've been through a lot. The big wins, hard losses, ups and downs, even a blood clot. I love him like a son. And now watching him play for Notre Dame, you could just hear how hard it is for his former head coach.
The greatest thing about playing and coaching is the shared commitment you have with people. And you have these incredible triumphs, and you have these very difficult defeats, and so many different kinds of successes and adversities. And when you have those things and you can stay committed to each other, you develop these bonds that last for a lifetime. And it's pretty clear, talking to Coach Clausen and to Sam Hartman, that they have that. They're in constant communication, so much mutual respect for each other. Both benefited immensely from the relationship. It's what college football is all about.
And what is likely the final play, handed off, and Egby up the middle. So Notre Dame at Stanford next week. Jack Swarbrick, Father Jenkins. One final home game, and you can only imagine the emotions they're experiencing. 45-7, Notre Dame over Wake.
And a great job by that guy right there, leading this team back. When they've had some adversities throughout his tenure, they always respond the right way. They certainly did today. Amazing day for the seniors and their families. Special day here in South Bend.
I think it's going to be a long time on the field for Hartman right here, don't you?
Sure is. Soak it all in. Go have a few lemonades with these guys. Impressed with him today. Channel the emotions the right way. Play probably his best game of the season against his great lifelong buddies. He'll have the bragging rights forever. Genuine smiles. Love those relationships. Special stuff.
Jack Swarbrick, athletic director, and so many great things he did, not only within the football program, with all the sports around Notre Dame. The new construction projects, buildings popping up all over the place, and what a legacy he'll leave behind.
He has an incredible balance of being a visionary guy and then also being intimate and having very close relationships with a lot of people. Amazing leader.
Let's go down to the field and Lewis.
All right, Jack, thanks very much. Well, Coach, you guys have delivered victory in the 500th game here at Notre Dame Stadium. What does that history mean to you?
Well, just as a reminder of the great tradition and those that have really set the stage for us to be able to be on this platform, man. It's a reminder of how awesome this university is and how the previous and the past have really paved the way.
Speaking of awesome, how about the gentleman standing next to you and the way he quarterbacked this team throughout the season and today?
He's special, man. He's special, and we're going to miss him, but we got it for 2 more, so we're going to enjoy every one we have with him.
All right, great. Thanks very much. Sam, can you just describe the swing of emotion you've had today for being introduced as a senior, playing against your old team, and now leading this team to victory on a big day?
Yeah, I mean, it's hats off to Wake. I mean, I've been there, been in their shoes, obviously played there for so long. And Coach Clausen, I mean, they came out and battled, and obviously we executed on a lot of fronts and played a really well, complete game.
Incredible game. Congratulations on the big win today.
Yes, sir. Go Irish.
All righty. Jack?
Lou, Sam, thanks so much. And let's listen in for the alma mater. Marcus Freeman with the leaders of Notre Dame. There is Hartman. He's fired up. I did notice during the pregame, he was taking extra time to walk around the stadium and talk to fans, too. Of course, understanding this would be his last time inside this building. You think back to that USC game, think about this season as a whole, year 2. Marcus Freeman, they had just won that game at Clemson, and what the attitude might be toward it. What's the evaluation here as you watch him walk off the field? Final home game.
Well, first off, think about Sam's career. What he did at Wake Forest is historic. One of the most prolific players, quarterbacks in ACC history, and then to come here and have this experience. And there have been some highs and lows, and I agree with you. Hey, if you lose to Ohio State, they're a top 5, top 3 team in the country. Disappointing loss at the end of it, but you'd like to think you'd beat Louisville, as good as they've been. Number 10 team in the country right now. You'd like to think that they could get that done. And then Clemson, this was the year to get them. They were 4-4 going into the game. So, you know, if they're sitting here right now with 2 losses, I think everybody feels better about it. But the only thing you can do is respond. And the only thing that matters is what you do now. So they put the last one behind them. Had a great day today. Incredible day for the seniors. Finish it up next week against Stanford and go play your bowl game. And I think everybody feels better about it.
How about 6 touchdowns by 6 different players out here today? Sam Hartman was spreading that football around.
He sure was. Sam was fantastic in this game. I thought he was reading things well. Really impressed by those young offensive linemen. The protection was clean all day long. But it was a good example of them attacking different ways. Different guys. They ran it well. The play-action game was alive. They made a lot of big plays down the field. Some young guys cashed them in.
Final thought as we head out.
What an experience. What a privilege it is to be here with you and be a part of this thing. Every time I come here to Notre Dame, I got a phone full of pictures.
Yeah, that's
when the
right.
band comes out there, I'm taking pictures, I'm taking video. It's just an amazing experience. And, you know, it sounds like it's a recruiting pitch for Notre Dame, but if you're a high school football player and you want to play big-time football, what an amazing place to do it. And we're so fortunate at NBC, and we are, to be able to work together, to be a part of this thing. It's been really fun. Thanks so much, man.
Amen. Well, one thing is for sure, Notre Dame played some big-time football today, playing some of their best ball, running the football, Hartman spreading it around, and we'll send it back out to Maria Taylor. Oh, you, Maria.